Thanks, Valerie. Thanks, William. Well, 2024, bloody hell, eh? As Alex Ferguson might have said. I lost half the room there, that's good. I do hope many people here will share my view that this was the year when the SDP's revitalisation really began to blossom. Many of us, myself included, cut our teeth in a general election campaign supported by a full manifesto and by volunteers at the national, local and constituency level. And A, we had a blast, B, we did some really good work, and C, we worked collectively together to achieve something that was worth achieving. So thanks everybody who was involved in all that work. But I think that experience also perhaps showed us that there are areas that need to be better. And I don't think we should be defensive about holding ourselves and others to account in identifying and addressing the opportunities we have to improve. So my view is there's 4 things that we really need to work on to be better next time. And I don't want anybody to feel that this is a criticism of anybody. It's ways that we can collectively make it better. So first, I think we need a pithy, somebody said pithy earlier, pithy explanation that's clear and compelling of what our philosophy and our vision is. And we need that to attract not just voters, but also members. I think we have to stop defining ourselves by our past. Our past is a great legacy, but we need to look forwards. We need to stop defining ourselves by what we're not. And we need to stop defining ourselves by reference to what other people are. So we need a clear, positive, compelling vision. One that doesn't actually include talking to people on the doorstep about the Gang of Four, which all of us found ourselves doing. And I'm not sure we won any votes that way. Secondly, I think we do need to develop policy. I think all of us would admit that where we got to on the manifesto was fantastic, but it was kind of where we were when the music stopped. And we can do more work in lots of areas. I think one thing we mix up is our policy and our vision. So our vision isn't our policy, and our policy isn't our vision. So people will say, you know, what does the SDP believe in? And people start talking about housing. Now, housing is great, and it's definitely part of what we think we need to change, to move the nation forwards. But we still need that clear vision. And I think a real key part of that, developing that vision and developing our policy, is not just to have those policies rooted in our philosophy, but also to have them discussed, debated and owned by our members. People quite often say to me, oh, should we be doing some focus groups? Well, our focus groups are the voting public, and we should be discussing our policies with that public, talking about them in public, using the public to test our vision, test our policies in the real world as often as we can. And great to whoever said they just stood in another by-election. I know we've got lots of opportunities next year in council elections. So let's really use that opportunity to really sharpen our policy and really start to own it rather than just say it's in this booklet. Thirdly, and this is perhaps a tougher one to put on the table, I think we need to be visible in our communities. Of course, we want more press and media coverage at national level, and we will work on that. But occasional appearances on GB News are not going to build a party. We need to be out there, visible, doing the proper hard work in our communities. And I think we need more members to be willing to do things like act as school governors, organisers of football teams. Wayne can give you loads of tips on how to do that. doing litter picking, working with our chambers of commerce, working in our trade unions or churches. And I think, I would just urge everybody to please do all those things as proud SDP members. You don't need to bang on about SDP policy all the time, but just little things like wearing your badge, I actually think make a difference. Badges on sale at the merchandise stall at the back before you go. And water bottles, of course. And breaking news, we're working on an online shop, so that is coming soon. And fourthly, we need to build and grow the party. So we need to help our regions to develop ways to support and encourage that. And that needs to be a key objective of our regions. So, we need to think about things like, let's do a month of street stalls. Let's do, let's all try and ring our local radio phone-in show. All those kind of things. And I think we can really push the party forward by doing those kind of things at the regional level. And you guys are clearly, the people that we need to be doing all those things. Also, I just really encourage you to go away and recruit a friend. Talk to your friends next week about what you did at the weekends. Find the geeky ones, obviously, and try and sign up a new member. And I think in all those areas, it's absolutely key to understand that our most precious assets are our members. Now, I know that sounds really corporate speak when people, businesses say that about our staff, but it is absolutely the case for us that you people and your fellow members of the party are the biggest asset that we have. William talked about the fact that we are a truly democratic party. And that democratic part of our name, I think we need to kind of live by every day. We need to collectively discuss and agree policies to create that kind of ownership of those policies that I mentioned. I'm going to risk a political theory joke now and see how many people laugh. But I am trying to explain all this without using the words democratic centralism or dialectical relationships. So I think these are things that people can really grasp in the real world. And none of this will be possible unless we make absolutely the most use of all the fantastic skills and experiences that you have. So one of the things I want to do really, really quickly is to put together a proper skills matrix. So look out for a questionnaire asking you what you're good at, what you want to do in working with the party, what activities you'd be interested in taking part in, how you can help to bring on your other fellow members. I'm really keen to show that the SDP's got talent, and I know we have. So look out for the call to volunteers. Look out for opportunities regionally to do things like reinvigorate Facebook pages. I know our Bristol colleagues have been doing some great work on their local Facebook page to really start to engage with the public through that channel. So I know, people will be around after conference. Please do talk to people from other regions and find out what all that is, what's working for them in their regions. But it's very easy to say that our most precious asset is members, but there is another precious asset that's really important, and that is money. And we've talked about it a lot today. We started off in the first session, our National Treasurer, Paul Topping, showed you that we pretty much operate on a shoestring budget. And if we're really honest with ourselves, we can't take that next leap to a new level without having more of that precious asset. So I said I wanted to talk about raising the bar. And to raise the bar, we need hard cash. And what hard cash will allow us to do is to do the kind of things that we've been talking about today to allow us to open an office, employ a limited number of staff who can support the regions, provide that really clear pathway for new members. Valerie talked this morning about sometimes we get people who join in, they're very enthusiastic and they burn out very quickly. One of the reasons they burn out very quickly is that we've not got any really clear pathway of what we should do with them. So, we need to be really clear about how we support new members, how we take them on a journey with us. We need to be able to do things like run public meetings. We very rarely run public meetings, and that's a bit odd, really, for an organisation like us. If we want to go to talk to people about housing, let's run a meeting on housing, or let's attend other people's meetings on housing. Let's make sure that we can be seen in public talking about all the fantastic ideas that we have, so that raises our profile from the ground up, not just from the top down. So an office will allow us to support people to do that. We'll also be better able to support members running in elections. We talked earlier in the session and the new motion about having a study group. I don't think the central office will want to be doing any of the actual work, but certainly coordinating stuff like that, which will be a job in itself, can be done much more easily if we have an office and a skeleton staff to be able to do that. And of course, we can find more ways to raise our public profile. Now, we can dream about rich donors, and we do dream about rich donors regularly. We've been waiting for a long time for that to happen, and so far it hasn't happened. And it may still happen, and William, I know, will leave no stone unturned in trying to make that happen. Lots of us are also trying to light little fires under possibilities to make sure that we can try to create some of those opportunities. But if we are here in this room today, serious about taking things to the next level, I think we have to look a bit closer to home. So in a minute, I am going to ask you for money. Lock the doors, please, Sebastian. And I'm not going to ask you for 20 quid. So what I'm going to do is, in a minute, I'm going to ask if anybody in the room is able to give us £1,000 or more. Whoa, superb, thank you. That's such a relief, because I thought we're going to have to lock the doors, and I was going to have to say things like, it's your own time you're wasting. So I can put those in my back pocket now. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask anybody who can give us at least £1,000 to put their hands up. And we're not going to take the money off you today, because you probably know that if we have donations of more than £500, we have to check your bona fides. So we won't take cash from you, but we have some pledge cards, some little cards and SDP pens. I think if people are giving that much, we might let them keep the pen, Paul. No, he says no. I think we'll let them keep the pen. We'll just ask you to fill in a card just with your name, telephone number and region and the amount that you're pledging. And we're going to ask our regional chairs to do the job of making sure that we are able to take money off you before we do that. Just to remind anybody, because somebody will put their hands up and ask if I don't tell you, the maximum you can donate without it being made public is £11,180 in a calendar year. I'm looking at Paul because I'm sure he'll tell me if I've got that wrong. Good. So, knowing all that, can I ask, can anybody give us £1,000 or more? So can we have the people bringing the cards round, Paul? That's really great. Can we give a round of applause for all these people? So keep your hands up until somebody gives you a card and a pen to write your name and number down on. Anybody else? Any more? Great, at the back, please. Thank you. Remember, This is going to sound like comic relief now. Your pledge will allow us to buy some IT equipment, pay somebody some money to do some work for us. It will help us make a real difference in driving the party forward. So final call for £1,000 or more. Okay, so you can take a big deep breath now. I'm going to ask for £500. Can anybody give us £500? Going to give you a few minutes, guys. Okay, superb. Thank you very much. Any more? Now, this is where it gets a bit more interesting, because if anybody can give us £250, we can actually take cash or cards, provided we have the Wi-Fi signal back. So, can anybody give us £250? Superb. So, bring cards. If you want to pledge it and not pay it now, that's fine as well. Card readers, beautiful assistants at the back. Sorry, they're just getting their ducks in a row. I'm going to keep talking while they do that. So anybody, £250, keep your hands up and we'll come round to you now. So I'm going to leave it there, which is not to say that anybody who hasn't given yet but can give a bit less gets off the hook. Because I will ask you, if you would, as you leave, to give us, any donations that you can. So we will take £100, £50, £25, £10, any of those donations as you leave or during the break. And you can all give a huge sigh of relief now, because we'll unlock the doors and let you go for a break. Thanks, everyone.